Welcome to This Movie is Gay. My name is Corwyn.
And my name is James.
And boy, do we have a doozy for you.
Ooh, your levels are looking great.
I like my levels being level.
Oh, me too. No. I like your levels being level because then it's easier to mix, baby.
Yes, easy mixing, like these monster pies.
Exactly. Welcome to episode 2 of This Movie's Gay. We watched Monster Pie, and I have something to tell you right now. Can I air a grievance?
Yeah, air that grievance.
Okay. On last episode, you poorly described this movie. You said, "Hey, this is a movie about a gay Frankenstein and a gay werewolf finding love." That is the movie within this movie. I was expecting like a low-budget Twilight, but with strong homosexual overtones. That is not what I got. I almost cried during this movie. So Corwyn, you sold me an ill bill of good faith. I might have to choose the next movie. And guess what? I know zero. We might watch Ken Park. That's not a gay movie. That's just a fucked up movie. I'll say, hey, it's a bunch of friends hanging out at a skate park. And then you'll watch the movie and say, no, James, that's not this movie at all.
That's incredible. I don't even realize that I did that last time, but I can definitely, thinking back, yeah, I did describe it as a Romeo and Juliet with Wolfman and Frankenstein, instead of saying they're people doing a class project for that. Oh, I'm sorry for deceiving you.
I told Nicole, and Nicole said, oh my God, that movie sounds amazing. And then I searched for it, and I said, maybe he said the wrong title because this is not what this is. Why is it called Monster Pies?
I'm at least glad that you looked it up and hopefully watched the trailer before you got into this.
I did, and said, this is not the movie. He'll send me the real link soon.
That was it. You've been tricked. You've been had. I feel like that's the point of this movie, though. Literally, I've seen this movie 4 times. And every single time I've watched it, it's always been very hesitant to show anyone. And then anytime I've gotten my friends to watch it, I'm like, it's terrible, but please watch it. Please watch it.
The entire movie up until that car accident was I have lots of notes until this I'm showing Corwyn maybe 80% of the lines on this notebook page are filled up until that point. And then once that happens, I'm saying I cannot goof on this movie. Once he gets beat with that cane by his dad,
yes,
this is a serious movie.
This is a serious moment. No, I get it. It's one of those movies that I like a lot because it is, objectively, it's terrible. It is not a good movie in my opinion. But it's one of those that's so bad that I'm I love this. I love this a lot.
I think, like I said, up until the last act of this movie is a great movie. The other parts were, but I think it kind of if other things were done well, I don't like new indie movies because of how the camera looks.
Yeah.
They try and make it look so crystal clear that it looks fake.
Does this have that problem?
Yeah.
Because the camera work is what annoys me the most about this movie, especially in the beginning. It's so jarring and so hard to get into because they have so many terrible transitions.
The video quality of it.
Yeah.
It looks too crystal clear. It looks too high definition, but there's no grainy.
There's no grain on it. There's no filter on it.
Yes.
They need to throw some, blue, yellow filters on there.
Yeah,
make it Star Trek. Let's go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say make it look like one of the Saw movies.
Oh my God.
Because that's all the Saw movies had.
I'm thinking of those solar flares that are all over Star Trek movies. I'm let's put that quality on this.
Yeah, it needed something. We watched a HD version of this. We didn't. It's not like Hellbent. We purchased this movie. I don't know. I'm upset. I was so looking forward to a B horror movie, like a science fiction, something that Mystery Science Theater would do. And that's not what I got, Corwyn.
Didn't I tell you it was going to be heartbreaking?
No.
I thought I did.
No, all you said was a Frankenstein, werewolf, they fall in love, Romeo and Juliet, and it's gay.
Oh, that's incredible. Okay, well, we need to find that movie that you want, obviously, to watch that.
We'll go to Reddit. Reddit will tell us.
They'll tell us that movie exists somewhere, but it's probably a porn, so we're probably not going to watch it.
Oh, I came up with an idea for a podcast. I keep coming up with podcast ideas where it's just we watch NC-17 movies. I've always been fascinated with that rating since I was maybe 12, of when it was probably when that. No, I think for some reason I heard Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was going to be NC-17. I don't know why as a child I knew that. And then that Johnny Knoxville movie that was NC-17. And I've just always wanted to know what those things were like. Also, video games that are rated A for adult. I've always wanted to play one of those.
I mean, that's not out of our like criteria of what we would watch here, because I feel like a lot of gay movies are going to have higher ratings anyway, because of the bias for the rating system.
Yeah.
Which I did a whole bunch of speeches about in college. But did we explain what this movie is? This is Monster Pies.
Yeah, we explained that Monster Pies, and we've explained this movie better up top than we did Hellbent. Absolutely.
Yes.
I think it took maybe 10 minutes for us to explain, hey, this movie's name is Hellbent.
We were just like, the creepy cruiser the whole time. But this is a movie that it's from Australia. It's 2013. It actually won the Audience Award for Best Feature Film for the Melbourne Queer Film Festival in 2013. That's the only significant thing about it, it seems. Yeah, besides being tricked and not knowing that it's a drama romance dealing with high school students dressing up as Frankenstein and the Wolfman, how did you feel about the movie?
Like I explained, the last half was amazing and heartbreaking, and I was going to joke, of course, spoilers, that's what we're doing. We're talking about this movie. Right at the end, if you haven't seen this movie and you are looking forward to seeing it, pause this right now, go watch it. I was going to make a joke about that tire swing of saying, oh, someone's going to hang themselves with that. And then right before, once he woke up, in the morning, I said, oh, dude's probably hanging. And then they show his feet, and then I almost started crying.
I mean, you should have. That's what this movie, even though I've seen it so many times, it still gets me at a couple points where I like start to tear up and I'm like, no, Corwyn, you don't have emotions. Stop doing this. Stop crying. And that's definitely like, it's, I think one of them is him in the convenience store stealing the bread and eating the bread and like crying. I start to like get a little emotional about that.
I would have, except in my mind I was thinking, why steal a loaf of bread? There's so many other smaller things you could get for the same amount of substance. And then once he starts crying, he just like, you can see his tongue push out the piece of bread. And then I was just completely out of it thinking, oh no.
He's like crying and just chewing bread, ugly crying. It's incredible. I don't know why I'm smiling so much at this movie. It's just because I've been inoculated with it so much that I can actually smile about it. But yeah, that part gets me. When he obviously dies, that gets me. And then at the end, when the teacher is like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say to you." That just like that interaction always like kills me a little bit. Same with the bully too.
Oh yeah, the bully got woke at the end. We'll get into that, but to piggyback off from the teacher, what she said, when she showed him that movie, it reminded me of a time when, if you've listened to my other podcasts, you know all the people I know who have died have been because of drugs and alcohol. And two of my friends died in a car accident, and I played a song that one of them was in, and then my brother started crying hardcore because it was playing. And it made me realize, oh, just because I'm okay with this, like I want to hear this to feel better about myself, other people might not feel the same way. It's the same as that teacher. She should have been like, hey, are you okay with seeing this before I put it in?
Well, I think she sort of did like go into that in a little bit when she was like, hey, so, obviously you've had a hard time. Just so you know, this tape has shown up.
Who sent it?
Mike sent it. She was like, or not Mike, Will sent it, the one who died. She was like, she's like, this tape sent, it arrived in the mail today.
Why did he? Oh, because did he know he was?
Yeah, he definitely planned it. That's why I was like, wait a fucking minute. Is that the full moon? God damn it. When we were watching right before that happened.
You've seen this movie
I've
before.
seen this movie, but I didn't realize that it was like the full moon right then, which plays into the Wolfman thing. Also, this movie does hit you over the head with metaphors over and over and over again.
Not just the Romeo and Juliet, them turning into a like not just that, but when they were skinny dipping, or not skinny dipping, when they went for a LARP in the pool, he pushes him in and then says, oh, you weren't going to take the plunge yourself. And then Pete Holmes, that's
Mike.
Yeah, I'm calling him Pete Holmes, or Vampire Pete Holmes. That's what he looks like. Do you know who Pete Holmes is?
Isn't that with music?
No, it's not music. He's a stand-up comedian.
Oh, okay. Then no idea who that is.
So, but that's what he looks like. When he kisses him, he was taking the plunge and also saying, hey, pretty much saying, hey, you weren't going to do this either.
Yeah. It just straight up hits you over the head with metaphors like over and over. And I forgot what thought I was on before that anyway, but the teacher explaining the movie. She's like, he sent it showed up. Technically it does fit the criteria for the project if you want to use it. But like, this is all up to you. You don't have to show it to the class. You don't have to do anything like that, even if you do want to use it.
You said, even if he hadn't sent that in, he still would have gotten a passing grade. But
probably.
How she phrased that was saying, hey, this thing meets the criteria, so hey, you're good, but you don't need to show it. Meaning she wasn't going to give him a passing grade anyway. His friend, not only did his friend die, but the partner that he was working on it with died. So you should give them a passing grade because the kid could say, well, I can't finish this now. He died.
I feel like the teacher would have given him a passing grade even if it didn't show up, because I mean, he wasn't in school for a bit anyway. And then like her first interactions with him were like, I'm so sorry this happened. Like, and the kids even knew it too, with the bully coming up and being like, hey, if I knew, I'm so sorry. But like, so everyone knew, obviously. I think that she would have given him a passing grade, because she's one of the few characters that actually shows up that seems to be very sympathetic towards him.
Yeah.
And their relationship whenever it's shown. Like the mom wasn't immediately. Obviously, Will's dad was not with at all. And then, so it's like you got the teacher seeing them dancing and she's sympathetic towards them, smiling like, oh, this is so cute. Even though he dies that night. And then you've got the dad that's sympathetic towards him like afterwards.
Yeah. I did write down in the beginning that mother has no mother's intuition.
No.
I'm not gay. I don't have any family members that I'm immediate family members that are, but I always hear your family knows. Family will say, hey, we knew when you were 6 years old. Is that true?
I mean, I feel like that ties into a lot of modern day, like the problems with straight people saying they have a good gaydar and stuff like that. I feel like that kind of thing ties into that, and it just deals with a lot of stereotyping of LGBT youth. that's not necessarily true. So I don't think that's necessarily true that the family automatically knows. I mean, there are definitely cases where the family does know and is very much in denial. But a lot of that does tie into LGBT stereotyping, that, we need to not do anymore.
Either my gaydar is terrible or I was just being a nice person. I think it was mainly me being a nice person, but there was one kid who lived by me that everyone called gay. And I said, no, he's not. He hasn't said it to anyone. So you guys don't know. And I kept, whenever someone would call him that, I would say, no, you don't know that. And maybe I said, even if he was, what would be the problem with it? And he had like one of the most traditionally beautiful girlfriends in high school. And then right after high school, everyone said, hey, did you know so-and-so came out? And I said, oh, well, now we know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as a society, it's kind of bad getting into that whole stereotyping and trying to be like, oh, my gaydar is great because I know that's the person that's not out is totally gay.
I've never used gaydar in a sentence ever before.
Until now?
Yes, until now. Because I think it's dumb.
It is dumb. It's like, okay, so you can point out a very butch lesbian or not lesbian. You can point out a very butch woman or a very effeminate man. Congratulations. That's
I don't even know
do.
On the gay porn sites that I frequent if these people are gay or not.
I mean, getting into like gay porn stars and things like that, a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, that's how you make your way in, and that's how you make the bank.
Some of them are either straight and just doing it for the money, or some of them are bisexual. And there are some gay ones, but like, yeah, you just can't assume just because.
Except every lesbian scene I've ever seen, I know they're lesbians.
I don't know if I've seen a lot of lesbian porn, so I wouldn't be able to like.
Oh no, it's
comment
not.
On that
Absolutely
at all.
not. It's clearly they're not, because, especially like casting call ones where they're like, "Hey, you ever been in a girl-girl situation? No. Would you like to be? Oh yeah, I can totally do that. Oh, but they have to be gay then."
I think getting into that, so I have a degree in theater. One of the classes that I took in college was acting for TV and film. And one of the scenes that we had to do towards the end of the semester was a kissing scene. And I am a very like conserved person. I literally didn't have my first kiss until this moment, actually.
Oh no.
It was my first kiss ever. Because I genuinely just do not connect with people romantically, for the most part. Like, I'm attracted to a lot of people, but I'm like, no, I'm cool with not. I'm cool with not going there at all. But this class, we had a friend of mine who's she's very religious and very like, she's also conserved. She's musical theater, and she got paired randomly with this girl named Victoria, who is she was very diva. She's like a powerhouse.
She was a theater kid, is what you're saying.
I mean, she's a lot. She is incredible. I absolutely love everything that she does, but she's literally like, if you think a traditional, like, what's that opera, like diva type.
What you're describing are theater kids from my high school.
Well, yeah, she's basically that, except she's she's cooler than that. Like, I feel like the thing that you're thinking of is like, oh, you've got these very diva like people, but she's actually like genuinely a cool person.
Okay.
She's just absolutely a powerhouse.
I mean, I hung out with later on I mainly hung out with the theater kids, so I do think they're cool. But that's just
I mean,
me.
she would be like outside of the high school like social cliques, like you'd be like, oh, that's Victoria. Damn. But anyway, she got paired with this girl that was very religious and was like, I can't do this. So the teacher was like, okay, well, I guess you get out, whatever. So Victoria needed a new partner, and the next random pairing was me. And I went into that class with with Victoria, and this is like I'm well into my theater program. I'm like, I've done a lot, almost about to graduate, all of that. And the teacher's like, okay, we're doing this kissing scene. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't do emotion, Sarah. I don't know. I can't do this. But I was like, I can do it, but I don't want to, all that. And she was like, my teacher was like, oh, well, what do you mean you don't do emotion? You've been in theater. What are you doing? Like, she's like, I'm gonna have to fire you. And I'm just like, Sarah, I got this. And then we did one take, had my first ever kiss, and it was on camera. And Sarah's like,
wasn't this a theater? Oh, it was for screen. Okay, never mind.
Acting for TV and film. And literally my first kiss ever. And it was with Victoria. And Sarah, she stopped everything after the take, and she was like, oh my God. She went and opened the door for all my other classmates. They were out in the hallway getting ready with their scenes. And she just goes, Corwyn and Victoria just had the best scene ever. This is the most incredible thing I've seen. She's like, it's the best. But going back to the other girl couldn't do it. The girl and girl thing.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of this segue. But I also had to explain my first kiss ever.
Do you have that tape?
I do not.
Oh, do you know if anyone does?
They probably do.
You should try and find that within the next 2-3 weeks, and then we can post that scene.
That's back in Memphis.
Oh, darn it.
I'm pretty sure I don't have a way to get it anytime soon. I don't know if she saved it, but I know like the grad students had them for a while.
Okay.
Because it was a class that we had like a couple grad students in and everything. But that teacher, literally every single time I did a scene, she was like, what was that, Corwyn? That was amazing. I've never seen you do this before. I'm like, you literally said that to me last week. I don't. That's been my entire like college career.
You're like, you're just not looking at me other times.
You watch me do it. You literally say the same thing, and then you just have like amnesia. I don't get what's happening.
I've never seen him walking on screen. Oh my God, I've never seen you do that before.
Exactly. It's like, oh, he can breathe. Jeez.
I've never seen you do that before.
And
you're sitting down. Oh my God, never seen you do that before.
Okay, back to Monster Pies.
Yes.
That was do you have any notes before? Yeah.
Oh, I have lots.
Okay. All from the first 80% of the movie.
Yes. He had some vibrant color sheets and pillows, and what Pete Holmes was wearing was just his pajamas were everything he wore was baggy.
Yes, he had the baggiest jeans I've ever seen in my life.
I wish I had some jeans like that.
You need to up your jeans game. Like, your jeans aren't that baggy.
I own one pair of jeans, and that's just because Nicole said, you look good in those. And I said, we've been dating for a year. Yes, I'll buy them.
Yeah, his jeans are like, they took a size, like the biggest size you can find, the extra, extra, extra large jeans, and then they just like tied a rope to like cinch it off.
They looked okay around the waist, but not... Everything else was baggy. Maybe that's an Australian thing.
I mean, this is a 2013 movie, so
is it though? Or
it seems a lot older. He literally started out with a Walkman,
which I commented on that. Maybe he can't afford an MP3 player, but he could afford a CD player. But if you're riding a bike, hey, that's gonna skip unless you have that anti-skip 60-second buffering thing that I used to have, but still would mess up your CDs.
But can you even still get like cassette tapes with like, I guess he was listening to like Mozart. So
yeah, you can still buy cassettes. Have you ever been to Bric-a-Brac?
I have not.
They just sell vinyl and cassettes.
Incredible.
New cassettes.
Like, is that like a boutique shop? Does someone just like own everything and they're just like, whatever, I don't need money?
No, it's a successful store.
Like they have constant customer.
Yes.
Not to diss that store.
Oh, I also forget that you have claimed that you don't listen to music, but tapes they've made a resurgence.
I mean, I listen to music. I mostly just listen to like Pandora or Spotify though. So like I don't
Pandora is for upper-aged people.
I mean, I still listen to Pandora because back before Spotify became a thing, like Pandora was just starting out. It was brand new. Starting
Corwyn.
is when I started listening to Pandora.
I thought you were going to say I bought stock in Pandora.
No. Yes, totally bought stock in Pandora when I was a teenager. No, I literally started listening to that and I was like telling my friends in high school, oh, there's this new website, Pandora.com. Like, listen to it. It's awesome. And then they didn't. And then like 3 years later, everyone started jumping on Pandora. So I've just stuck with it since then.
You have brand loyalty.
I do.
You're like a juggalo. I'm so sorry that I brought juggalos up in another podcast. We will stop that talk right now.
It's only brand loyalty because the thing about Spotify is that I think you can do it now where you can like choose a song and then do like a radio and it chooses songs for you.
Yeah, I think so.
But like before, when it first came out, when I first like started looking at it, it seemed like it was just you created your playlist and then you listened to it. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want the songs chosen for me. I don't care. So that's why I listen to Pandora because they just like continuously like add songs to your stuff.
You love the Bruce Springsteen channel, don't you?
I surprisingly enough do not have the Bruce Springsteen channel. I do have a Beyonce channel. I've got there's a few like musical singers that I've got their channels. Jeremy Jordan, is that a name?
Patti LuPone. I hope I said that name right.
I don't know what kind of music you think I listen to, but that's not
You
it.
said musicals.
I do, and that is correct. But
she's a musical singer. She was a stage first, then screen. She was on 30 Rock.
But I'm talking more like The Last 5 Years or Hamilton or Next to Normal, like more modern like rock musicals sort of thing.
So like
Though
Mandy
Hamilton's not
Patinkin.
rock, yes, love me some Mandy Patinkin. So that's the kind of thing that I listen to. And I didn't know that cassettes still existed. So that's fun to know. I guess this movie is not as dated as I thought it was.
One of my most recent full CD I was going to put out on cassette, and then I realized I would have needed someone else to master it properly, and I said, no, thank you. I will do everything myself and send it to someone to get printed up.
Did you do it on cassette or
no, just on CD?
Just on okay. Are you gonna like? If you ever go to New York, you need to be one of those that just like stands in Times Square and you're just like, hey, listen to my CD, listen to my CD.
But then I say, hey, do you want this CD? And when someone says, yeah, I say, that'll be $10.
I've literally had to push friends away from those because they're just so like used to not being around that kind of thing that one of my friends actually bought one of those CDs and it didn't even work. And I'm just like, stop.
I did that once, but I was very young. Someone said, hey, do you want this CD? And I said, yeah, sure. And then this was also in Muskegon, so it didn't even make sense that this would happen. But one time someone said that on the streets of Chicago, and I said, no, just give your music away for free. Do what I do.
SoundCloud, like let's just get famous that way. I don't know anything about music or how to get famous.
Hey,
Sorry,
I've been doing
everyone.
it for 13 years and I don't either.
You're my only source, so I've just been let down. Like I let you down in choosing this movie.
And I am an unreliable source. So we already did that. The teacher is tired. She had bags upon bags, and so did his best friend.
Yes, they're both like exhausted people.
And he said for such a, awake community, clearly they're tired. They're not sleeping. They are not woke at all.
The thing about the teacher being tired is still funny to me too, though, because like that classroom is like 10 people.
Yeah.
Like you have an excellent class size. What is going on here?
She might have insomnia.
That's just me constantly.
You must put something on. You must put some treatment on you.
No,
you look great.
I just got a baby face, so It's just like, nope, you don't have bags.
You can't say you have a baby face, but also have a full beard.
if I shave off the beard, suddenly I look 12.
Okay.
So that's
Shave
why
it off.
I keep stubble.
Shave it off.
I ever shave it off, I'm gonna come up and you're just gonna be like, who the fuck is this?
No, I know you by that signature haircut.
Yeah, no one else does the blue green tips like I do.
They're
now.
fading now though.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. It was a birthday choice and it's just faded into a nice mint, so I'm just keeping it. But the hair for the lead, that it always like the lead just throws me off completely every single time I watch this because I always forget how awkward he is. Like, and I know that's a character choice for him to be awkward, but I feel like it goes beyond that, and the actual actor himself in this movie is just awkward. So it's just like this double layer of awkwardness from the Pete Holmes character.
Yeah.
I remembered. From him. It's just so awkward. And that's one of the things that like it's hard for me to get into in the beginning of the movie is that awkwardness, and then also all the like transitions because they're very jumpy and very like,
oh yeah,
just like they don't make a lot of sense cinematographically and like thematically and things, but it gets better towards the end of the movie.
Already we're 2 for 2 of having awkward lead characters.
Yes,
like Detective Final Boy, he had no steez, I said. Corwyn probably doesn't know what I mean by steez.
No clue.
It's a slang term meaning kind of your confidence, but kind of your swagger as well.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I have confidence for days, so I never have to worry about that term, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
No,
totally.
That means you do have steez. You're good.
I have steez. I'm good.
Yes.
But I never worry about needing steez.
All right, what else do we got? Does he work at a VHS store?
Yes. He works at the Australian version of Blockbuster, apparently.
But I was thinking maybe when they got DVDs, they still kept them in a VHS type like holder.
Possibly.
Because that's what they did with records at first. They made those long box with CDs. They made like the long box so they could still fit in where you would hold vinyl, so record stores wouldn't need a completely new setup to hold things.
I feel like some of them, or a lot of them were probably still VHS though, because towards the end, whenever mom finds out that he got sacked, it's like, he's still got some VHSs.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about this. This movie took place in the 90s. I think it did.
It was written in 95.
Wait, it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just saw that. It's the writer, director, whatever, wrote it in 95, but they didn't do it until like 2013. So I guess that's like sort of the look they're going for. It's a very, very odd movie.
Okay, then you want to know what? The bully getting woke at the end is not believable if this was the 90s. That would have never happened.
No.
Did you ever have a bully apologize to you? Did you have a bully?
I didn't really have a lot of bullies. There were like, I have had like kids throw rocks at me, like things like that. But they're usually like anonymous, like faceless, like they've never been like someone that I actually know.
Okay.
Anytime something like that happened, I usually had friends like defending me in school. So I didn't really have to deal with that so much. Just the anonymous bullies, I guess, is mostly what I had to like face. Because I did have a very good like friend network.
That's good.
Much better than Mike and Will in this movie with their friend Janine, I think was
Technically,
her name?
Pete Holmes was the only one who was friends with her.
Yeah, but she
hated Mr. What did I put down for him? I put down Movie Boy. Is that what I called him? Yeah. And Movie Boy is hardcore.
Should have been like James Dean. He's just sitting there with that white t-shirt and the black pants.
That white t-shirt that had a very scantily clad lady, legs wide open with 3D glasses on.
Yes. And Mike also had a weird shirt that looked like that meme with the child that looks like an 80-year-old woman.
I thought it looked also like a Les Mis shirt a little bit.
I guess I can see that. He was into Mozart, I guess. So that's yeah, sure. We'll go with that. It just their fashion in this movie is very strange, but it's also not our culture. So
it's
Australian.
It's also supposed to be the 90s, I guess.
We're assuming because they had a Walkman and
well, they had an answering machine, VHS,
yes, no cell phones. It's definitely not 2013. Like everyone has a cell phone in 2013.
There was also a picture on a news, like they were looking at the news and it was New York and there was a city skyline and the Twin Towers were still there.
Before 2001. Yes. Okay. All right. We've dated this movie. It's 90s.
I'm kidding. That was not in there.
I was like, I don't remember. From my 4 watchings, I do not remember saying that, but I'm just going to go with it.
I do not remember the beautiful Twin Towers still there.
Did not... I was just like, James must have wrote it down. I'm gonna go with it.
I was thinking maybe it was now because of that latch that they had on the door in this classroom, and it looked like it looked like some thick, possibly bulletproof glass. So I was thinking, oh, this is a post frantic school shooting era, but I also don't know if I don't think that's a big deal in Australia anyway.
No, I think they have, I think they've actually gotten gun regulations, but don't quote me on that. I am also not well-versed in gun control in other countries.
No one's well-versed in gun control in America.
Exactly. That I'm not going to blame it on that. I just, I don't know. It's definitely a different place.
Can I say something real quick? I forgot to. I was being sarcastic. I hope that came across when I was saying all lesbian porn, they're real lesbians. Just so no one thinks I'm some stupid rube straight guy. I know, guys. I was quoting people from middle school saying, oh my God, they're absolutely lesbians. And me thinking, no, they're not.
What maybe a rube. No, yeah, we got it. Okay. And if we don't, then we do now.
All right. What else do we got? Oh, them trying to whisper in class. You could hear an echo. That's how loud they were.
That's because they had terrible audio equipment.
They could have just been like this. Hey guys, how you doing? But instead, they're talking like this. What's your name? You want to do a movie?
That part was funny to me because he's sitting with Will already, and he clearly has a crush on him already. And instead of being like, "Hey, you want to be partners?" He gets up, walks around the room where everyone else has already partnered up for their project, and then finally sulks back to Will and is like, "Everyone's already partnered up. Do you want to be partners?" Yeah,
if I were sitting next to a girl that I had a crush on, and then it was partners, and I would look around a little bit and just say, hey, we're already sitting next to each other. Would you like to be partners?
Yeah, but I guess that plays on the awkwardness of the main character. No steez. He's just like, all right, I'm going to walk around and be very awkward. Another awkward part for him that I loved was him walking up, and Will is waiting for his dad to show up, and he just throws his bike.
Yeah, I was going to write that down, but I was like, nah, that's not a super important moment. But yeah, he just tosses it in not even bushes, just under a tree.
Yeah,
like a low-hanging tree.
He's just like, yeet, bye. And then goes to, awkwardly talk to Will again. Another awkward thing, he doesn't like Meryl Streep. He's not a fan. Every time I watch this movie, I catch that, and I'm so mad about it.
I was going to write that down, but then I hear the cap of your pen pop off, and I say, oh, I already know what Corwyn is writing right now. He's going to be angry about this.
It's the biggest thing on my page. I've got it taken up 3 lines, not a fan of Meryl. Oh, I got loud there.
Oh, but you didn't peek. You're good.
Great. I'm always so thrown because like looks like a little shit there. He's just like, I'm not really a fan of Meryl. It's like, okay, who do you think you are? Obviously not the greatest actor because you are not, filling the scene for me.
But what about how he cries? He's doing such a great job at that.
I mean, Will did a much better job at crying, I feel.
I mean, Will or Movie Boy, even the worst actor could do an okay in the shower naked crying scene. But hiding behind a indent in a wall to cry, he did a good job for it. I did kind of laugh at it, but still.
And the running, after he watched the movie, the running into the field to pull up grass, cry, so dramatic.
Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, for good reason.
I was doing notes during his explanation of how his brother is no longer with them. Did he just fall out of a car?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I forget that every single time. And I had to write that down too because he was like, what happened? And he's like, oh, will you just keep this to yourself? And he's like, yeah, sure. He's like, well, we were riding in the back of the car and I saw him grabbing the handle and then I looked away and the next thing I knew he wasn't in the car anymore. I'm like, that's the end of it. Like, what? I
was thinking that I heard that they were in a car and I heard he was fiddling with something, but I only half heard it. And then I was like, either he fell out of a car or did someone just nab him and just say, oh, I look away and then I look back, he's no longer there.
No, straight up fell out of the car apparently, which I guess led to the parents divorcing.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, so on that, this is one of the things that I actually really, really, really like about this movie, is the accurate portrayals of some of the characterizations. So like Will, Movie Boy, he's in an abusive household. He's an abused kid. And a lot of the things that he does and a lot of decisions he makes, it's very honest and real. And that's one of the things that like really gets to me, especially with like that character specifically, just because he's like crying in the store and like all of that. Just the way he reacts to things and being very closed off with Mike, Pete Holmes, being very closed off and like, oh no, everything's fine and all of that. Like it's such an accurate portrayal of how an abused victim usually reacts and like things like that. In my experience anyway. So that's why that's one of the things that just really like, this is why this movie is one of my top movies. Despite its flaws, I just love it because of that.
Yeah, and like I said, that comes up in the later half of the movie, and that's when it starts to get good.
Yeah, and I mean, there are like moments and signs and stuff in the beginning, like the dad like pulling up in the truck and like the way we see his interactions with Will, and then the mom in the home.
Yeah.
Like her stuff, like you can kind of like pick up like hints and stuff from it. If you're more predisposed to like that kind of behavior, you can kind of pick up hints of it, but it definitely like, goes into it more at the end. Like the mom was literally, she's like she is because she was thrown into a wall.
Yeah.
Like she was hurt so hard that she has brain damage and she has to be in a home for that. Imagine that kind of home growing up in. So that's the motivation for that character. And we can see why that character made the choice that he did, even though it's so tragic, him, killing himself on the full moon and everything. We can see where that comes from. That's what this movie did well for me.
Yeah, the latter half of the movie is fantastic. I do want to comment on the first interaction with Movie Boy and his dad. Does his dad say, "Why are you still in school? You could be like me making good money if you just drop out"?
Yeah. The dad wants him to drop out. And then that Will's like, Movie Boy's like, oh, so I can just also piss away the money like you do?
Which is from drinking.
Yeah. He's like, the dad just does nothing but drink and then beat his kid with a metal cane or a wooden cane. Yeah, this is a tragic movie.
It is. We got to watch Ken Park, only if it were LGBT. You should watch Ken Park. It's really fucked up.
I will have to look that up after this, and I might watch it.
Check it out, Ken Park. But also check out Monster Pies. Why is it called that? We don't know.
It's called Monster Pies because the main character, Mike, and his brother, whose name I don't remember, the kid that fell out of the car. I say that like it's a joke. It's real. It's very tragic. He thought that there were monsters in his backyard when he was growing up. So him and his brother would make monster pies out of like dirt and grass and
Did
rocks.
I just miss this?
Yeah, he literally explained it.
All right.
He was like, yeah, we used to make pies out of dirt and rocks and all that, and he would let them bake in the sun. And
I
then,
remember
like,
seeing them do that, but I don't remember him explaining it. Okay, that makes sense.
He explains it. They do explain their like tragedies in this, which is sort of nice, yeah. Aside from, beating you over the head with metaphors with
Can we talk about Bean Girl? She just eats a can of beans, and then in the classroom when everyone's pairing up, she's just sniffing a marker.
Yes. I didn't pick up on that as much until I watched this with you because I knew you would start making jokes about things, which I'm totally cool with. And it literally,
markers don't get you high anymore. Like her doing that it's not going to give you the effects that it once would have.
But this was the 90s.
Oh yeah, fuck.
She was getting high in class, eating her can of beans. It was literally like the mom was like, or the friend was like, oh yeah, her mom gives her a can of beans every day for lunch. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, definitely made fun of.
When we first moved to Chicago, I was trying to spend as less money as I could. I was trying to do things on the cheap, so sometimes I would just buy cans of beans and eat them. So I think they were just trying to get her protein, because the friend Janine shows him something from her lunch pack and says, I can't believe my mom packs me this to get me to eat this.
It literally looked like, so you know how you have those like string cheeses in little packages, or like a Slim Jim? It looked like one of those packages, but with a stalk of celery.
Okay.
Is what that looked like.
What it looked like to me was like a push pop, but a candy version of a push pop. It has to be something from Australia that people immediately can think in their head, oh my God, I know what that is. It's from the 90s in Australia, but we have no frame of reference for that besides Slim Jim celery stalks and push pop candy.
Straight up a Slim Jim celery stalk that her mom is giving her to lose weight.
Wait, to lose weight?
Yeah, that's why I think it was celery, because the mom wants her to lose weight.
Oh, I was thinking it was to get nutrients.
No.
Okay.
Straight up, the mom is like, you're fat, Janine.
Well, I also thought it was candy, so I don't know what I'm talking about. What else do we got? Sniffing markers. The tiny face vase mom, the camera angle when we're introduced to Movie Boy's mom, it makes her look like she has a tiny face. That could have been thematic of something, maybe, or it was just a bad camera angle.
I feel like it was... I'm going to go with bad camera angle.
Okay.
There. It just reminded me of that, like, there's a GIF everywhere of Chris Hemsworth, like, turning and looking into, like, a piece of metal, and it's got his head as, like, a triangle from it. Like, that's what that reminds me of.
I've never seen that.
God, look it up. He just, like, looks, and he's just so disgruntled by, like, his, like, triangle face reflection. That's what that looked like to me. It was just a lot of the camera work towards the beginning was kind of bad. I mean, even towards the end too, some of it, but they got a little better with editing at the end.
Do movies work that way?
I mean, either they work that way, or I just got so used to the bad editing that by the end I was like, oh yeah, this is good.
That's probably what the deal was.
But I mean, like, after they like spent the night leaned up against the tree uncomfortably, and it just shows like Mike waking up and looking around. It like shows like the little stream and like pans up and shows Mike, and then it pans out and shows like him hanging. That was
that was great.
Those were good shots. Like, that was good camera work there. Not great story wise, because let's just kill all the gay people. But it's sad. But it is a Romeo and Juliet sort of story, even though in this case, wait, who dies first? Romeo? Yeah. So Juliet didn't die. Yeah, there were some good camera spots, but a lot of them were very weird.
Can I say, I touched on it while we were watching the movie when they were playing footsie. I was like, they're playing footsie in the middle of class. That's so
okay. Yeah, I need the story.
I was thinking, oh man, that's you could get caught. People would know you're doing that. Don't do that. But then it clicked in my head that a friend of mine would give hand jobs during class.
All right, please expound upon that.
I don't want to go. Normally, I will say on podcasts I do people's first and last names, unless I'm talking about this stuff. There is a story that I describe about a friend seeing me get a hand job, and then he describes my penis as a dino dick, and just because it, I guess, looks like aggressive and veiny, I don't know. But so I did not say that person's first and last name, but this person told me she would give multiple hand jobs during, this was also in like 6th grade.
Oh my God.
Just cranking dudes.
See, and here's me. I'm like, I didn't kiss anybody till college.
I know.
Obviously that was not me. The little footsie thing they did was cute. Like, they hugged with their legs.
But they could have been caught.
I mean, does anyone even care in that 10-person class?
Oh yeah, that none of them care. The only person who cares is the teacher, and all she cares about is them coming into class early.
Yeah, she's like, Mike, God damn it, show up on time. Hey. And then they start dating, and he shows up on time, and she's like, hey.
What's the deal with this?
And then she catches them behind the curtain at the school dance, and it's all fine in her eyes.
She loves them.
She does. I feel like the teacher's a very sympathetic character in that. And I enjoy her character, even though she looks exhausted the first time we see her.
But I'm sorry, Nicole, but she looks good. I would say, but maybe I just enjoy a tired look.
You're like, give me those bags under the eyes.
Speaking of people hot and heavy in this, the movie store MILF, she wanted it bad.
Oh my God. She got him fired.
That was so fucked up.
It was fucked up and so frustrating because he's like, he could just show them a video like, I'm totally gay. Like, I did not do any of that she's saying. She was like, oh, I have some heavy boxes at home that I need to put on top of my wardrobe. Will you come and lift them for me? And he's like, no.
And then she smooches him and he pushes her away. And then she says that he did that to her.
Yeah, he said, she was like, what are you, some kind of homo? And that was like after they had like a sort of semi-discussion about like, oh, people don't accept that. They were also using the metaphor with the wolf man like changing and being hunted down.
Oh yeah.
Like that thing came up and then immediately after it's like, let's show the townspeople not like the gays. And that's what happened.
He should have just said, no, I'm taken, because he technically was.
Yeah, but he didn't have the boyfriend talk until after that moment.
Okay. Really?
And he was in the shower. Yeah, because he was like sitting in Will's bedroom, and he's like, hey, so are we together?
I thought that happened and then the MILF thing happened.
No, because he showed up at his house because he was so upset that he got fired because the MILF kissed him. Yeah, so that happened, and then he showed up at Will's house, and Will was like, yeah, come in my bedroom. I'm going to lock the door so my dad doesn't come in and beat the shit out of us. And then he's like, oh, are we together? And Will's like, looks like it. And he's like, no, I mean like together. And then Will's like, yeah, duh. So they didn't have that talk till after that. So it's understandable.
And then they got that hotel room.
They got a motel room for the night. And you
they
saw
freaking smooched.
You saw some booty. That's all we saw. They were just like laying face down on the bed. So if you want to see butts, that's there for you.
For a very small, slender of a second, you will see butts.
I mean, there's also the moment where he jumps in the pool and he's like wearing whitey tighties, so he like gets out and you're like, oh, I could straight up see through those.
Once I saw he was wearing those, I knew they better not show a frontal view of him. You would be able to see all of his stuff.
They did not.
They would have just had to tell him, make sure you grow out your pubes so we don't have to blur anything out. Or just don't put him in whitey tighties.
I mean, it's the look. It's the
also,
90s.
It was thin material.
So, like, straight up, you can see through them. It's
like it probably didn't even have that flap in front, that is there to help you pee easier. So it wouldn't have even had the double material to help blockage.
Well, that's why he just kept his side to the camera and then just like turned and ran away immediately after being kissed.
They planned that.
That I wrote that down because he pushed him in the pool. You brought this up earlier. He wouldn't have taken the plunge otherwise. So he like pushed him in the pool and then Mike kissed Will and then Will ran away and waited for him outside. And he was like, he's like, oh, are you? Mike is like, why are you so sad? Why are you upset? Is it because I kissed you? And he's like, no, it's not because you kissed me. It's because I liked it. It's like that. Just wanted that to be out there. That scene happened. It was awkward writing. I loved it.
I enjoyed it too. I already knew that was going to happen. Of course he liked it.
Yeah. And then the only thing I have after that is the death stuff, which you already talked about. The mom, how fucked up was that? The mom, like, finding out that he got fired from his job while he was at the dance was just like, oh, I found this. This is all his fault. He brainwashed you, right? And then she's like, oh, I called his dad.
And like, that set things into motion.
That set everything into motion to end up with, I mean, I think he planned it before, because he mailed out the tape.
Okay.
But it did like sort of cause that. It caused the action to happen like sooner than it would have probably, because she's like, oh, what did he do? Brainwash you? I called his father.
How does she even have her dad's number? I guess if this is the 90s, the yellow pages, but they had just moved.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They wouldn't have had the new edition yet.
Maybe she called like the operator. It's like, hey, operator, 411, give me the 411 on this dad's number.
She wouldn't have even known the dad's number. We are at an hour of recording now.
All right, so we're wrapping up.
We're going to start wrapping up. They don't know how to do sleepovers.
No.
Since when do you plan? Both of you say, we are going to sleep now. No, just one of you starts passing out from exhaustion, and then that's kind of the deal is, oh, first one's out, next one's out, and so on.
Yeah, but instead we had Will like trying to sleep, and then Mike like, let me keep talking. I want to keep talking.
Are you comfortable? Do you need more blankets? Good night. I said good night.
Stop fussing over me. That's literally a line.
Yes.
Yeah, and after that, I put after the death and everything, the coming out to his dad, Mike coming out to his dad is so like ambiguous. Because he's like, oh, I was at a funeral. And his dad was like, oh, is it like a friend of yours? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, is it like a close friend? Like, what's up? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, so why'd you want to talk to me? And he's like, I just told you. It's like, you didn't say shit.
Yeah.
And luckily the dad's like, oh, you're gay. Okay, I get it now. But that to me was just so, I was like, this doesn't seem real.
Also, if this is taking place in the 90s, I don't think the dad would have come to that conclusion.
No.
It might even be still not today come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I feel like that was just that's what I was so taken out during that moment, because it's just like he doesn't really say anything. He just lets his dad talk, which is fine. And that is how some people come out. But like, he never clarified anything. He's just like, oh, I just told you. It's like, you didn't tell me anything. You told me that a close friend of yours died, and that's why you want to talk. Like, I would not. But
he was a close friend.
Yeah.
But also, he doesn't give that inflection of saying, hey, Dad, he was close.
Yeah. The dad gives everything, and he's just like, yeah. That's it.
That's an intuitive dad. Only if mom was like that. Why is he living with the mom and not the dad?
He's living with the mom, and she's outing her son's boyfriend and getting him beaten by his dad. Though that time the Will actually beat up his dad.
Yeah, that dad deserved it too.
I mean, he beat him earlier with a wooden cane, so yeah, he definitely deserved that and more with beating his child and also beating his wife into a home.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if he never beat the son, the dad still had it coming.
Yeah, like karma's got its kiss for the dad. But not really. There's no resolution with him at all besides him getting beat up the one time. You even see him at the funeral, and it's just like, what? Like, is there nothing for this dude? Is there no like comeuppance for him? No.
Yeah.
He just goes on living without his son now, which I guess is sad. But since he was beating him every day, is that sad to him? Like,
he looked kind of sober in that moment, but he also just didn't have glasses on. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like possibly he was sad about it, but they should have kind of focused on it more. Also, that funeral was very sad. There was only 3 people there, and one of them was a priest.
I mean, they just moved.
Oh yeah.
And then 4 with Mike standing in the background, staring out. I don't know. I don't like the dad, and then I'm just like, no mercy, but he doesn't get any comeuppance besides being punched a couple times by his kid.
Punched and then just kind of admitting defeat.
Yeah, he just got punched a couple of times and then he ran away. It's like, okay, all right. I guess that's that. Oh my God, there is another movie that we're gonna watch eventually where a kid beats up his dad, but he literally kicks him into a closet. And it's that's some symbolism there. It's so funny, but also sad. But we're gonna, we'll watch that one eventually. I don't even remember the name of it.
Let me see if there's anything. The teacher dance scene with the piano score on top of it. Corwyn said, I don't think that's what they're dancing to, but I like that this crazy piano somber thing is going on. And I said, they're probably just dancing over a click track or just a drum machine going boom, ba-cha, boom, boom, cha, boom, boom, ba-cha, boom, boom, cha. And then once it, I synced it, me doing that up to the teachers, and it fit perfectly. That is what they were doing.
That's what they were doing. And that dance was so weird to me. It was like,
and the principal, I think it was that character who introduced this scene.
Yeah.
He wasn't in, everyone else was in some fancy extravagant
costume.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was just in suit and tie, but knew the choreography.
Yeah. That scene was so weird. I guess it was just a moment to give Mike and Will a moment to talk before the all-women band came back on, which you did point out. That music was good.
Yeah.
It was great. I need to find out who they are. I didn't see anything on the
I think
IMDb.
It was called Wicked West.
Just need to listen to them. It seemed like I got a lesbian band kind of feel from it, and I
what are you
wanted
talking
more
about?
of it.
You don't listen to music.
I don't listen to music. I'm gonna get shit for that all the time. Corwyn does not listen to music.
Every single
Never
episode.
played music for him ever.
You're gonna hum something, and I'm gonna say, "Ooh, you're learning."
It'll be Hamilton. That's what it'll be. Gotta bring that back.
Man, you love Hamilton.
That's it. And other musicals. Yeah. Do you have any other notes? Because I am through with my notes, I think.
I did say when they did the sleepover, I blurted out, "Oh, he's gonna be smelling toilet seats."
You did.
And then
I was like, "What is that?"
That's a story. Someone, I'm not gonna go into super detail, but pretty much there was someone who we idolized in our friend group, and that person came into our friend group. It's musical person. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom." And then she said something either along the lines of, "I'm going to smell the toilet seat," or "I hope he pees on the toilet seat so I can smell it."
What the fuck? Oh, that's weird. That's real weird.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
See, this is why I said Victoria was cooler than that.
Oh no, these weren't theater people. These were horrorcore people.
Oh no.
Which, I mean, it is theatrics. If you're doing horrorcore right, it should be theatric. But I think that's all I got. Any final closing statements?
Just Monster Pies. It's literally one of my favorite movies, just as far as like character portrayal goes. So definitely, if you haven't watched it and don't mind being spoiled throughout this entire episode, please go and watch it.
I mean, we also did. We left out a lot of stuff. I feel like.
Definitely. We
didn't even touch on the movie itself that they made,
which was so cute. Ugh.
Yeah, he gets, for lack of a better word, horned up from being kissed on the cheek through a mask.
Yeah, that. The wolf man kisses him. He's like, "Is the cheek okay?" Kisses him on the cheek, and then he's like, and sorry, I forgot my line.
Oh no.
Oh no. Any more thoughts for you?
Watch this movie. I enjoyed it. It was a change of pace from Hellbent for sure. But I think we should do another slasher movie.
Another slasher movie? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what we'll do next. I kind of like this idea of announcing what we'll do next on the next thing. But I don't know right now what it'll be.
Yeah, we haven't even released an episode at the time of this recording. We're fine. We're good.
It'll probably be, which I think, it'll probably be like, I think there's one called something Bed and Breakfast, and it's a slasher, so we'll probably do that. Or there's one called Stranger by the Lake that I haven't seen, but I think there's a thriller type part to that.
We also got to make sure we're finding stuff that's on Hulu or Netflix, because we can't shell out $4 every single week.
Yeah, unless we subscribe to that thing and do that stuff.
Which I guess if it's 10... Oh, no, because you also need a Prime account. I don't have a Prime account. I have no need for one.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will. Follow us on whatever social media it will end up being. There will be, in the description, it'll say at the time of you downloading and listening to this, but I have a lot of plugs. Do you have any plugs, Corwyn?
No plugs at the moment. I'm sure I will have some soon. Besides, actually, I'm an associate company member for Saltbox Theatre Collective. We are putting up a show in February, so depending on when this is released, please go buy tickets. It's called Boy Gets Girl.
This will probably be sometime in December, I think.
Yeah, so it'll be coming up. Tickets are on sale already, so please buy tickets. Please support us. We're going to be in a theater in Uptown, I think. But yeah, Boy Gets Girl, Saltbox Theatre Collective. That's it.
And any website they can go to? Yeah,
you can actually go to saltboxtheater.org. It's got all the information on there. And then we also have tickets on brown paper tickets. So yeah, I'll discuss this more in our next podcast too.
Awesome. You can listen to my 2 other podcasts. The one that I do with my betrothed Nicole, who will eventually be a guest on this podcast.
Yeah.
That is called Mostly Speakin' Sentai. Her and I have a earnest love of tokusatsu films and, things like Godzilla, special effects, heavy things from Japan. And we also very much enjoy the Super Sentai series, which is the source material for Power Rangers. You should check it out, both the podcast and the show itself. However, as long as you kind of have an idea of Power Rangers, you really don't need to have watched the show to find enjoyment in our podcast, Mostly Speakin' Sentai, because we use the show as a springboard to to talk about things and discuss things. You know, my body dysmorphia comes up. The reason why I have body dysmorphia comes up. My fascination with kids who are cooler than me. I've said multiple times to Nicole, man, that kid's fucking cool. And then she says, that person is 8 years old. Why do you think a kid doing skateboard tricks is cool? And I say, because I wish I were like him. And she says, you have a savings account. That kid doesn't. So things like that, or us talking about how we wish we were more like the villains on that show. Our friends Courtney and Monse talk about that. They've been on the show twice, at least recorded, and they've related with the villains, not with the heroes.
Yes.
And speaking about Courtney and Monse, I do a podcast with them called I'll Get There. It's a show that's pretty much about the embarrassing stories that make our life enjoyable, and it makes it funny and fascinating and interesting. All of these podcasts are on things like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you can get podcasts, you can find it. You can also go to msspod.blogspot.com. I think that's Blogspot's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's either that or just follow us on Twitter and Facebook at msspod, on Instagram at msspodcast, and listen to that stuff. Also, check out their friend of the show on MSS, Mostly Speaking Sentai, the Morph Bots. You should check them out, Corwyn. It's redubbing the show that Big Bad Beetleborgs was based off from, which is also kind of like Power Rangers. Check them out. The Bots That Morph. You can find it anywhere. I believe that's their website, thebotsthatmorph.com, or on Vimeo, just search Morph Bots and you'll find their show. It's hilarious. They're great people. Check them out. We need their plays to go up, 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 baby.
Yes. Get those plays.
That's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to This Movie is Gay.
Absolutely. My name's James.
My name's Corwyn.
Have a great night or day.